Welcome to this week's Movie Math, giving you an in-depth analysis of the box office for the weekend of April 20th, where The Hunger Games fell from the #1 spot not with a bang, but with a whimper. Yes, in a classic case of David versus Goliath, the box office juggernaut was toppled by two films that nobody had any faith in, until the numbers started to come in. Yes, Think Like a Man came out of the gate strong with $12 million on Friday, then finished the weekend not only at #1, but with a debut bigger than all of Tyler Perry's movies save one. It's nice to see another filmmaker having some success in the genre, and this is a great turnaround for Tim Story, who's been practically a dead man walking in Hollywood since he ran the Fantastic Four franchise into the ground. Interestingly, the majority of the audience for Think Like a Man was male and older, with 60% over the age of 30. Where were all the younger viewers? Well, it seems they threw over PETA for Zac Efron, easily giving him the #2 spot ahead of The Hunger Games. This was the second biggest opening for a Nicholas Sparks movie yet, and a nice rally for the author's work in the wake of copycat pick The Vow. This was also big news for Efron, who seems to have erased 3 years of mistakes with an opening on par with his last hit, 17 again. But while the debut of The Lucky One is certainly keeping Sparks and Efron relevant in Tinseltown, it's still doubtful it will be able to post Channing Tatum-esque numbers. As for The Hunger Games, it might have dropped to 3rd place, but it didn't drop much overall, and should continue to raid the box office cornucopia until The Avengers cuts it down on May 4th. But worldwide, the pick is up to a whopping $572 million, putting it ahead of the majority of Marvel's movies and within striking distance of the Iron Man flicks. And expect the franchise to grow, as late last week it was announced that Catching Fire would have a new director. Welcome news to Hunger Games fans who felt Gary Ross's work was the only thing holding the movie back, especially the infamous shaky cam. Former music video director Francis Lawrence is indeed an exciting choice, coming off of the box office hit I Am Legend and the picturesque Water for Elephants. In fact, many fans are already wondering if Lawrence will be able to persuade his Elephant star Robert Pattinson to take on the key role of Finnick Odair. And while Pattinson is certainly loath to join another franchise, once Bellamy and Cosmopolis most likely flop, he might be more open to the idea. Then in 4th place, it was a great weekend for the Jane Goodall Institute, as Chimpanzee delivered Disney Nature's most successful debut to date. But while all this box office news is very interesting, what really got the industry buzzing this weekend was the firing of a key Hollywood player. Yes, I usually use the second half of this show to discuss the rest of the box office, but instead I'm going to focus on one entry in particular, John Carter. Last weekend, the movie came in at number 17, where it had once again tumbled more than 50%. To date, the film has only made $69 million here in the US and $200 million overseas. How much did John Carter cost to make? The official number is $250 million, but it's rumored to be $350, plus there's the extra money for prints and advertising. Then you have to factor in that a studio only gets half of a film's box office gross. And while we might never know exactly how much Disney lost on John Carter, the number is so big that Disney had to at least admit to losing $200 million. That makes it the biggest box office flop of all time. So of course, heads had to roll, and roll they did on Friday as Disney Studios chairman Rich Ross resigned. Yes, after 15 years at Disney, 3 as the head of the film department, Ross's career there was ended in disgrace. Kind of like how Dick Cook, Michael Ovitz, and Michael Eisner resigned. That's right, the Mass House chews you up and spits you out, sometimes with a $100 million plus severance package after just working there for 14 months. And while these guys did make dumb moves that sealed their fate, this latest firing only underlines Disney's bumbling search for leadership since Walt's death. Now, you can already read plenty of great articles online about exactly what happened with Rich Ross. I've put links to 2 in the video description. So here I'd like to bring up a bigger question. Are there any visionaries left in Hollywood? James Cameron, maybe, but he has such a me mentality and attention deficit disorder work ethic these days, I don't know if he really counts. With an ever-growing number of parent companies, the studios have been taking on more and more of a risk-adverse mentality. But Hollywood was built on risk. Look at the backstory of any major hit, and odds are it begins with, "We must have been crazy." Furthermore, talent needs to be mined and it needs to be harnessed. Yet these days, the studios are full of people who either don't have an opinion, have a self-serving opinion, or are simply being led around by the latest focus group results. Therefore, ideas just mill about and end up on the big screen only half-formed, reeking of missed opportunities. Hollywood is the ultimate combination of business and art, and you need the push and pull of both sides for it to work. As the saying goes, it's not a good deal unless both sides are a little unhappy. Now, it's being said that Bob Iger, the head of the Walt Disney Company, distrusts the film business, and that Rich Ross, who came from TV, was more interested in the lifestyle than the work. Apathy and fear are no way to run any movie studio. When will the passion return to movie making? Because until it does, how can Hollywood ask audiences to be passionate about the results? What do you think? Is Rich Ross's firing a singular problem or evidence of an overall epidemic in Hollywood? Be sure to share your thoughts down below, as well as check out the 2 articles in the video description. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll go beyond the trailer for these other top movies.